I'll take the class and I will. I'm recording. This is very important. You don't understand these things even if you read. That is why I make so much effort to do this. Okay. So we learned that how octahedral voids and tetrahedral voids are created. Okay, about the voids we will see. Okay. Now about the voids, if it is simple cubic, you will have one. Hello. Uh, uh. Okay. Say out. Eight. Okay. Okay, sorry that I had a phone call. Now, if it is a simple cubic, there will be a simple cubic void inside the cube. There will be only one void. Okay, I will tell you what will happen in a body centered cube. There will be an irregular void at the face center. Okay, now we are more interested in close packing, that is FCC. FCC is also called CCP or HCP. FCC, that is face centered cube, and cubic close packing, they mean the same. HCP is different, but CCP and HCP both are close packed. Packing efficiency is same. I have told you the difference between the two, which will show HCP and which will show CCP also. I have told in the previous class. So FCC, CCP, they are same. If they give you like that, they are same. HCP is different, arrangement is different, but coordination number, packing efficiency is same as CCP. Both are equally efficient. Now we are interested in learning about how a void is created in the FCC. Okay, so how many octahedral voids, how many tetrahedral voids, and where they are formed. This point is not given in any of the books. So I will tell you how it is created, where it is created. So now first I will tell you how many are created. So for a face centered cube, Z effective, that is number of atoms or constituent particles per unit cell is equal to 4. Per unit cell is equal to 4. So for FCC, number of octahedral voids, good evening Rohit. So for face centered cube, Z effective is equal to 4 and number of octahedral voids is also equal to 4. That means if the number of atoms, if you take it as n, small n or capital N, number of octahedral voids will be n. And now this is very important. You have so many problems also on this. number of tetrahedral voids will be 2n. That is twice the number of octahedral voids. So, what do you mean by an octahedral void? Octahedral void means you will have 3 like this and 1 above this. You will have 4 spheres. At the center of the 4 spheres, you will have 1 void. That you call it as tetrahedral void. Tetrahedral void, that means they void within 4 spheres. Whereas octahedral void will be like you will have this will be a octahedral void, but imagine 1 above and 1 below this. You have 4 in one plate, 1 above, 1 below sphere. At the center you will have 1 void, that you call it as octahedral void. This is octahedral void. Octahedral void will be touching 6 spheres. It is in coordination with 6 spheres, whereas tetrahedral void will be in touching 4 spheres. So now you have to learn this point. They have not given properly. Now you have to learn how 4 octahedral voids are created and how 8 tetrahedral voids are created and where they are created. That point you have to know. Now to know that, I will write the sphere and show it to you. Okay. First I will show it to you how a octahedral void is created. Now to know how a octahedral void is created, what you do is, if you want, you can write this. Rohit, Steve, you can write this. It's interesting to write this. Okay, you write one cube like this and extend the cube. You write 4 cubes. Okay, you have extended one side. You are extending here. You write this. You write 4 spheres like this. I will show you how it is created. Now, if you can see here, I will show you the spheres. Now, you have one atom here, another atom here. Okay? When you have 2 atoms over here and the void is created here. How a void is created here, I will show you now. You will have one face-centered particle of this phase and one face-centered particle here. So, you will have like this, and you will have one face-centered, for this I am saying, one face-centered particle for this and another face-centered particle of this phase, 2 adjacent faces, and you will have like this. So, you will create an octahedral void at every edge center. These are the edge centers. A cube will have 12 edge centers. A cube will have 12 edge centers, and at the center of all the edges you will have one octahedral void. And you know that each edge center particle is shared by 4 cells. So it donates 1/4 to one particular cell. So one octahedral void is shared by 4. So there are 12 octahedral voids. So into 1 by 4, that will be 3 octahedral voids per cell. And now if you write one more cube like this, if you write one more cube like this, okay, you have face center particle like this. Okay, so if you join this, write on this also. If you join this, you will have an octahedral void right at the center of the body. Right at the center of the body. So there will be one body centered void which will be belonging to that particular cell, completely to that cell. So 3 plus 1, 4 octahedral voids. This is very important. Books, they have not given this properly, how that is created actually. Okay, so I have to put the shape properly. I have to just put the shape. Write it down. Write down. So you will have one octahedral void right at the center of the body, which contributes completely, belongs completely to that cell, and 3 octahedral voids per cell at the edge centers. So 4 octahedral voids per cell. Octahedral void from body center, it is 1. From, if you join all the 6 face centered particles, all the particles at the face centers, you will get one octahedral void which belongs completely to that cell. So it contributes completely. And you will have one octahedral void at every edge. There are 12 edges. So it will contribute 1/4 edge particle. So 1/4 of 12 is 3. 3 plus 1, 4. So 4 octahedral voids over. Now you have to learn how 8 tetrahedral voids are created. How clear is that clear? Okay. Now how 8 tetrahedral voids are created? You draw a bigger cube. I will show you how it is created. You draw a bigger cube. Now, if you see this, see, you will have one particle this here. This particle will be touching one particle here, one particle here, this face and this face. Okay, that means front, back face, upper face, side face. So you will have 4 particles here and you will have one tetrahedral void here. One tetrahedral void here. Tetrahedral void over here. So that means this particle will be touching adjacent 3 face center particle, and inside that 4 spheres you will have one tetrahedral void. At that tetrahedral voids, all the tetrahedral voids will be inside the cell. So it will be, they will contribute completely to that cell. So now each corner particle, there are 8 corner particles, and each corner particle, they will have one tetrahedral void like that. Each corner particle will have one tetrahedral void. So that you will have, okay, whatever tetrahedral voids I am writing, it will be the at the body diagonal. So this part to this part. So if I erase these things, you will under. Yeah, I will remove the particles. I will just show you the I will just show only the tetrahedral voids. That will be more clear. Now you know where the particles will be. So you don't have to learn that. So I will show you only where the tetrahedral voids are. So tetrahedral voids are at the two at each body diagonal. Actually, they are at 1/4 distance, we say. From here 1/4, from here also 1/4, like this. To here, from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here, and from here to here. So you will have like this one tetrahedral void, here one tetrahedral void, and this is over. Then from here also it is over. Then from here one tetrahedral void, from here one tetra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you will have 8 tetrahedral voids. For every corner particle at 1/4 distance, you will have one tetrahedral void. That means 8 corner particles. 8 corner particles, and at the center of at 1/4 distance from the corner, all of them will have one tetrahedral void, and that tetrahedral void is completely inside the cell which belongs to the cell. That means every two this is very important point. Every 2 tetrahedral voids at every diagonal, body diagonal. So there are 4 body diagonals. So each 2 diagonals, so it will be 4 into 2, 8 tetrahedral voids. So this is very important. We'll solve problems, then you will know how much important it is. So number of tetrahedral voids will be double the number of octahedral voids, and number of octahedral voids is equal to the number of atoms, Z effective per unit cell. This is very important. So total number of voids, this also they will ask. Total number of voids will be equal to number of octahedral voids plus number of tetrahedral voids, that is 4 plus 8, that equal to 12 voids. Okay, so in a FCC, number of atoms, see this I am talking for FCC. For FCC, Z effective is 4. If you keep it as n, number of octahedral voids will be n, number of tetrahedral voids will be 2n. So it will be 8. So 4 plus 8, total number of voids 12. If it is HCP, okay, I saw a question for that also, I will tell you. If for HCP they give Z effective for HCP is 6. So number of octahedral voids will be 6. Number of tetrahedral voids will be 12, double than that. So total number of voids will be 18. Total number of voids will be 18 for HCP. Total number of voids is equal to 12 for FCC or CCP. Understood? Is this clear? So you have to work out problems also on this. How you are going to see why you are going to study this, because if you know, okay, see if you take any crystal, that it doesn't mean that all the tetrahedral voids are occupied. or all the octahedral voids are occupied. Some of them may be occupied, and it is not necessary that all the voids are occupied. On what does it depend means, it depends on, hello, why Bharadwaj? You should inform, no? I was waiting. Okay. Okay. Joy. Okay. Okay. So now see, have you understood this part? Steve, Rishi? How you got the voids? You understood tetrahedral and octahedral voids? Okay. Now what happens is that we'll see why you are studying. This is very interesting actually. Now, what will happen is, see, if you have an ionic compound, you will have cations and you will have anions. You will have cations and anions, and you know that size of the anion is bigger because you are adding one electron extra. Anions are bigger than the cations. Cations they will shrink. The size of the cation is smaller. So normally what happens? Anions will form the lattice. Anions will form the cube. Okay, and cations will occupy the voids. Okay, so anions will form the packing and cations will occupy the voids. Okay, because they are smaller, they will occupy. So it may happen that all the voids may be filled, all the voids may not be filled. All the tetrahedral or octahedral voids, there are so many multiple choice questions on this. Actually, difficult ones are there. How much percentage is filled and all they will ask. I'll tell you about that later. So, how many are occupied is very important. So, on what it depends means, it depends on the formula of the compound. If you know how many are filled, you can determine the formula, or if you know the formula, you can determine how many are occupied. How many tetrahedral, octahedral voids are occupied. So, normally the ratio will give you how many are occupied. Okay, so now we will, I will send you the notes. Don't worry about the notes part. We will work out two simple problems to calculate how they are done, and then we will continue from there. Okay, now write down. I will give you the notes later. Whatever I have told now, I just give you the notes later. This is from the textbook only, so you can do this. Write down. A compound is formed. By two elements X and Y. A compound is formed by two elements X and Y. Write it down. Write it in a rough sheet. I will send you the notes. You can copy it neatly later. A compound is formed by two elements X and Y. Atoms of the element Y as anions. Atoms of the element Y as anions make CCP. And those of the elements X cations, those of the elements X as cations occupy all the octahedral voids. What is the formula of the compound? What is the formula of the compound? So they have given Y ions. Y ions form CCP and X ions occupy octahedral voids. Tetrahedral voids completely they are left as it is. They are not occupied. Why? I will explain that later. Okay, why they are not occupying? Because size of the cation may be bigger than the size of the tetrahedral void. That is why it is not able to occupy that. We are going to derive the relationship between the radius of the atoms and the radius of the void. That I am going to derive because they have not. It is not given in the textbook, but they have asked in the book back. Okay, size of the tetrahedral void and size of the ion, size of the octahedral void and size of the ion. I will explain that later. Okay, so now what happens is that they have asked why ions form CCP and X cations occupy octahedral voids. What is the formula of the compound? How will you do this? How will you do this? Rishi, Steve, how will you know the formula of the compound? I'll repeat. See, a compound is formed by two elements X and Y. You have X elements and Y elements. Atoms of the element Y anions, they form CCP. Atoms of X as cations, they occupy all the octahedral voids. What is the formula? This is the simplest question that can be asked. Okay, there are very difficult questions on this. Okay, I will tell you how to analyze problem like this. First, you should know how to go about it. Then you can write it. You can work it out. It's just 1 mark question. That's all. All these are 1 mark questions. Now, when I say Y anions form CCP, CCP means what? FCC. Okay, FCC means Z effective is equal to 4. That means there are 4 particles per unit cell. Important point. Whenever you see FCC, Z effective is 4. Whenever you see BCC, Z effective is 2. And whenever you see simple cubic, Z effective is 1. You have to register that. When I say CCP, it is FCC. I told you, FCC, CCP are same. Z effective is 4. When Z effective is 4, I told you octahedral voids will be 4, tetrahedral voids will be 8. Twice the number. So, when Z effective is 4, Y will be equal to 4. Because Y is forming CCP. Okay. Now X atoms, X ions, they are occupying Y. X ions are occupying octahedral voids. So, X is also equal to 4. So, X is to Y equal to 4 is to 4. That is 1 is to 1. So, formula of the compound will be XY. That is how you have to analyze. Okay, when you say they are forming FCC or CCP, Z effective will be 4. When Z effective is 4, how many octahedral, tetrahedral voids? You will know the number. If you know the number, from the number you can determine the formula. Understood? Steve, Rishi, understood? Okay. Now, next one I will dictate and you will tell me how to do that. Okay. Next one I will just dictate and tell you. You will tell me how to do that problem. Okay. Write it down. Atoms of element B. Atoms of element B form HCP lattice. Atoms of element B form HCP lattice, and those of the element A occupy 2/3 of tetrahedral voids. 2/3 of tetrahedral voids. What is the formula of the compound? What is the formula of the compound formed by the elements A and B? What is the formula of the compound formed by the elements A and B? Now tell me. You have to, if you have understood, like listen to me carefully. It is just a fraction of a second, you will answer this. How to do this? Tell me. Steve, Rishi. Very good. X as the HCP atom B. Then, if you take it as X, how many tetrahedral voids will be there? Very good, Steve. Very good. Excellent. How many tetrahedral voids will be there? 2x. Correct? So, 2x. Now, it is occupying only 2/3 of tetrahedral voids. That means what? Very good, Steve. Very good. What does that mean? 2x into 2/3. Correct. So, Rishi understood pa? Rishi is not answering. I don't know why. Rishi, you can unmute and talk, no? You have any mic problem? Okay. You understood, Rishi, the problem? Okay. You understood the problem? Yes. So, you take the, as Rishi said, Steve said, you take the number of atoms of B as X. So, number of tetrahedral voids will be 2x. So, A is occupying 2x of 2/3. So, A will be 2x of 2/3 is to x. That means 4/3 is to 1, or A4B3 will be the formula of the compound. A4B. There are very interesting questions on this. I will send you a multiple choice questions list. 60 questions or something like that, 40-50 questions. You answer them. Very, very challenging questions are there on the solid state. Okay, you answer that. We'll answer more after I complete the chapter also, because I need to complete the chapter. First, I'll finish off the chapter and then I'll work out more problems. Okay, very good. A4B3. Now, we are going to study how we can evaluate, get more and more information from the unit cell dimensions. What does that mean? So, if you know the edge length, you just, if you know the edge length A, if you have a cube and the edge length of the cube is A, if I say, if you know the edge length, what will be the volume of the cube? Volume of the cube, it will be A cube. A into A into A. So, very good. A cube. Now, if you know the volume, you know that density is equal to mass by volume. So, you have calculated the volume. If you know the density, you can calculate the mass. Okay, and you know that mass of one atom is equal to atomic mass by Avogadro number. So, if you know the atomic mass, you can calculate the Avogadro number. So, now how will we go about this? Now we will see. Now, let the edge length be A. It will be very small. It will be in picometers. Okay, picometers means 10 to the power of minus 12 meters. It will be very, very small. So, volume of the cell, let the edge length of the cell be A. Then volume of the cell, unit cell will be A cube. Then density of the cell is equal to mass of the unit cell. Scribble down this. I'll send you the notes later. Volume of the unit cell. So, mass of the unit cell will be what? You know that mass of the unit cell will be mass of the atoms in that unit cell. So, it depends on the number of atoms belonging to that cell. That means it will be Z effective into mass of one atom by volume of the unit cell. And you know that mass of one atom is equal to atomic mass by Avogadro number. How did you get this? You know that Avogadro number of atoms weigh atomic mass. So, one atom will weigh atomic mass by Avogadro number. Okay. So, when you substitute everything, density will be equal to Z effective into atomic mass by Avogadro number into A cube. So, density is equal to mass of the unit cell, atomic mass by Avogadro number, Z effective into that by volume of the unit cell is A cube. This is very, very important. So, then you need to calculate this. You need to calculate this. Here, they will give you A. Okay, they will give you A. You have to cube it. At the end of the finishing all the chapters, I will tell you how to cube it or take the cube root without using the logbook or the calculator. But for the time being, you will have to just do it using the logbook or the calculator. Okay. So, giving any one of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are there. Given any 4 parameters, you will be asked to find the fifth one. Here very important is cube root and making cube. You need to be very careful with that. Okay. And here one very important tip I will tell you. Very important tip I will tell you. Now see, if you are given any ionic compound, okay, any ionic compound, this they will not directly give you the edge length. Okay, so then edge length, this is very important. Edge length will be equal to 2 into distance between the ions. Into distance. Note down this. Note down this. So, for ionic compound A plus B minus having FCC structure, H length is equal to 2 into the distance between A plus and B minus ions. This is very useful. Mark it important because we will work out problems on that also. Okay, we will work out problems on that also. I have written down the problems on that also. That I am just searching that problems. I will give you that problem also. Now we will work out problems on the density one. Write it down. We will work out problems on density one. Write it down and keep the calculator, because it will take more time if you don't have the calculator. Write down. An element has a BCC structure. An element has a BCC structure. BCC structure. So when I say BCC structure, what is Z effective? What is Z effective? Rishi? What is Z effective? Z effective? Yes. Rishi, what is Z effective if it is BCC structure? Two, correct. So BCC structure means Z effective will be 2. Okay, an element has a BCC structure with a cell edge of 288 picometer. 288 picometer. The density of the element is 7.2 gram per cc. Density of the element is 7.2 gram per cc. How many atoms are present in 208 grams of the element? How many atoms are present in 208 grams of the element? How will you do this, Rishi? Okay, first we will analyze. They have given the edge length. So what you can do it with the edge length, you can find out the volume of the unit cell. Edge length means it is the edge length of the cell, one single cell. One cell edge length is given. Find out the volume of the cell. One cell. Volume of one cell. How will you do that? Cube it. You will get volume of one cell. Now you need to calculate how many atoms are present in 208 grams of the element. Now what we will do? Find out volume of the 208 grams of the element. How will we do it? Mass by density. Mass they have given 208. Density they have given. Find out the volume of 208 grams. So you will have a volume of 208 grams. But volume of each cell you would have found out. So if you divide volume of 208 grams by volume of one cell, you will get number of unit cells. Each unit cell will contain 2 atoms. So many unit cells will contain 2 into so many atoms. Do it. First take the calculator. Start doing it. First, volume of the unit cell. Volume of the unit cell. 288 picometer. Keep it in first, convert it into meter, then convert it into centimeter, because density is given in gram per cc. density is given in gram per cc. Density is given in gram per cc, cm cube. So, picometer you need to convert it into centimeter. So, 1 picometer is 10 to the power of minus 12 meter or 10 to the power of minus 10 centimeter. Write down this. 1 picometer is equal to 10 to the power of minus 12 meter or 10 to the power of minus 10 centimeter. So, 288 picometer is equal to 288 into 10 to the power of minus 10 centimeter. You need it in centimeter. This is A. A cube. Next you write down volume of the unit cell. One cell will be 288 into 10 to the power of minus 10 whole cube cm cubed. Find out this. Find out this. First cube it. 288 into 288 into 288. And then 10 to the power of minus 30. First step is this is the first step. Then what will you do? Find out volume of 208 grams of the element. Volume is equal to mass by density. So, 208 grams by density, they have given it as 7.2. 7.2 gram per cc. So, you will get so many per cm cube. It will go up, you will get it in cm cubed. Do this. First tell me what is the A you are getting. What is A you are getting? Two 88 into 288 into 28. I'll just do it in my calculator. Two 2.23887. You can take it as 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you take it as 2.388 into 10 to the power of 7 into 10 to the power of minus 30. So this will be 2.388 into 10 to the power of minus 23 cm cubed. 10 to the power of minus 23 cm cubed. Then volume of 208 grams of, that is mass given, of the element is equal to mass by density. 208 by this. Find out this. Okay, Path. I will work out this problem and then leave. Okay. Okay. So, mass by density. 208 by 7.2. So, that will be 208 by 7.2. That is equal to 28.88. 28.88 cm cubed. So, then what will you do? Number of unit cells. Number of unit cells in this volume. Number of unit cells in this volume will be volume of so much by volume of 1. That is 2.388 into 10 to the power of minus 23. So this will be 12.09 into 10 to the power of 23. 12.09 into 10 to the power of 23. And now, each unit cell contains 2 atoms. So, number of atoms in 208 grams of the element will be equal to 2 into 12.09 into 10 to the power of 23. This will be 24.18 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms. Understood? Okay. So, we will work out more problems on this and then continue with in-text question, and we will have to do the sizes of the radius ratio, everything. We will have to do all that. Okay, we will continue in the next class then. Okay.